Must win?
I like the way you did that.
Oh,
No. 1,000 times no. They cannot go into this. Now, yeah, you want to win. It'd be a great win over the Chiefs. Avenge that loss in the AFC title game. Obviously, it wouldn't do that. It's just a regular season game. So, sure, you want to go out there and win. But you cannot even hint that this is a must win if you're affiliated with the Baltimore Ravens. You have a whole season to play. If you lose, you can't just get all down and we will never be able to beat this team. And here's why I say it's really not a must win. First of all, like Nick said, they've got a lot of changes. So they got new coordinators. They got some new defensive players. They have a new, offensive player in Derrick Henry. So you have a lot of new things that you're going to be doing. So if you lose, you can't get all worried about that. You just got to keep developing over the next 16 weeks. Okay? But here's the biggest thing. Lamar Jackson, I believe, and I think the evidence supports this, is very mentally tough. All right. So I know he's 1-4 against Mahomes. He'll be 1-5 if they lose this game. But everything people said he could not do, he's done. That's from being a starting quarterback in the NFL to negotiating your own contract in the NFL. Like everything they said he couldn't do. People said he would not be a Raven anymore. Oh, he's got to get out of here.
Well, there's
obviously
one thing he hasn't done.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but he's still young. But I'm just saying, so I think that even if they lose to Mahomes, he's not going to be like, man, I can't beat this dude. If you feel that way, you can't beat a guy because you've lost a few times to him. It would be, Nick, only one of those 4 losses at this point has come within the last 3 years.
No,
it's not like they're playing every year.
But now it would be 2,
hammered.
and it would be in the last 2 games he played.
But you can't. Yeah. No, look. You got to be mentally tougher. Than that. Well, I'm sorry, and I think Lamar Jackson is.
All right. Here's how Lamar Jackson felt about playing Patrick Mahomes before Mahomes went into his building and beat him in the AFC title game. Take a listen. I mean,
it's called a joke.
Let me ask. Is
you think he's really serious?
I don't know. I don't know that he. I mean, we can show you the numbers of how Lamar does against Mahomes. And I think Mahomes, let me put it like this. How do you think Mahomes feels about playing against Lamar? And that vaunted Ravens defense.
Mahomes is beating everybody.
No, but.
So does he not like playing against Burrow? Because Burrow's beating him more?
Mahomes has beaten Burrow the last 2 times they've played.
Who's won more games between those two against each other?
Is it Burrow? I thought it was
3,
even, but you could be correct. Because I might be including a game that Burrow didn't play when I said the last 2 times. So you might be right. But yeah, maybe not. But what I know is the reason those numbers are so stark is prior to last year, the Chiefs have always had, when they played Lamar, bad defenses. Last year was the only year they had good defense, and Lamar's numbers still were not good. Here's what I would ask. Is this the biggest game on the Ravens' schedule?
Yes.
I think unequivocally yes.
I don't think they feel that way.
Well, just from a logical perspective, isn't it, from tiebreakers and your chance to be the 1 seed again, it's the biggest game.
You know how I think they feel?
What?
The next game is the biggest game.
Okay, all right.
Home against the Raiders.
That's how you look at it.
True.
That's how you look at it, especially when you're in the AFC North.
So
you
no
can't
game.
Overlook
so they
anyone.
don't have. So they don't have a biggest game. They don't have a biggest game.
The biggest game is the next game.
So they don't have a biggest. So right now,
I think that's how Andy Reid and the Chiefs look at it too. Yeah. Biggest game's the next game.
Okay, well the Chiefs. I don't actually think it's how the Chiefs look at it at all. I think the Chiefs don't look at it as.
We'll get to that.
If this isn't a must-win, then they don't have a must-win. The Ravens.
So what if they lose, Nick? Then what? Their season's over? They're supposed to mentally throw in the towel?
No, I don't think that they should forfeit the year if they lose. But I think that a team that before they took the field in their last game was 15-3, was beating teams by a historic margin of victory, was rolling, had the highest or the best point differential in football, had the best record in football, had the league MVP. And then if all of a sudden, 2 games later in 2 different buildings across 2 seasons, you have lost almost as many games as you had lost in the previous calendar year, and it's to the same guy, and now all of a sudden, your quarterback who wins 75% of his games in his career is 1-5 against that guy. I think there is a psychological stumbling block there that could be too big to get over.
Let me flip it, Brew. Lions went into Arrowhead week 1 last year, won the game.
Yeah.
Do you think that win propelled the Lions to playoff success and sort of set the tone for the whole year? We went into the Bullies building, put their feet up, ordered a large sandwich, ate it, watched some shows, and it was momentum. And the flip side of that coin, as you like to say, is if it goes wrong, you're like, uh-oh, this guy's Jordan-esque. I can't get over the hump on.
You can't think that way as a top-notch professional athlete. I'm sorry. You can't. I can't believe that Lamar Jackson is going to fold.
I'm not saying he's going to fold.
No, that's what we are saying.
No,
that's
we're not.
He's not going to admit it. He's not going to play terrible the rest of the year, but mentally, he's going to be like, I can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
I hope we don't see them in the playoffs. Like, no, that's folding. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
You got it. If you're that good, you're a 2-time MVP. You have done what everybody said you could not do. People didn't even want to draft you. Right. People said you should switch positions, and you let none of that mess with you mentally.
Okay. Right. But the one thing though is my point is that people have said he might not be able to do, that he hasn't been able to do, is have a good playoff run. The reason he didn't have one this past year was because they lost to the Chiefs. If they then start this year knowing we're essentially 2 back of the Chiefs, we've played them 6 times, beaten them once, it's the team I have the worst record, worst quarterback rating, worst everything against, and they're my biggest competition, I'll use your example in a different way. The year after the 13 seconds game, Buffalo played in the opening game of the season and put it on the defending champion Rams.
It was a must-win.
It was, now they ended up losing at the end of that.
How's that work?
No,
but they went 13-3.
Right, they had a great season. They lost at the end of the year to Cincinnati. But I believe personally that if Buffalo in that game had gotten rolled by the Rams right after that 13 seconds game, that their whole first month of their season is thrown off.
I don't think Josh Allen, with all due respect, is as mentally tough as Lamar Jackson.
How about this, bro? One thing before we go. Is it a must-perform great for Lamar? He played poorly in the AFC Championship. Last year, week 1, against the Texans, he went 17 for 22, 170 yards, had an interception. And he apologized after. He said rusty ass, and then it was an emoji. Yeah. But thank you, God, for the win. So is it a must-win that Lamar plays well?
No, I think he'll be if he doesn't play well, I think he'll be motivated by it. Now, look, I'm not saying it's not an important game, a big game that they want to go out and win. I'm just saying if you put too much into this game, if you're the Ravens, and you really feel like, man, this is it. We gonna win this game. This is gonna be our Super Bowl, and you lose, then you set a bad tone for the rest of the season. And you can't do that.
Can I tell you what set a bad tone for our week 1 Friday before the season must-win segment? Because if this isn't a must-win in week 1, then there are no must-wins in the whole NFL.
But I like the conflict
Wilds
of the
has a strange definition of must-win.
Not really. It's just like you have to win the game.
Okay. They do not have to win the game.
They have to win.
So if they don't win the game, the season's over. Are they not making the playoffs?
If they don't win the game, they will be in the back of their minds all year. They will know someone's got to beat this team for us.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yep.
That if they brew, and I know that. Hold on. I know that you agree with me a little bit on that because it is the argument you used about how important Chiefs-Bengals regular season game was after the Bengals beat them in the AFC title game. That's like, we have all this success against other teams. I have no recollection of that. See, there we go. I don't. I have no recollection. Do you?
No, but I was going to bring up another ancient memory.
What's that?
Last time I tried this and you guys laughed at me.
What?
Lakers Nuggets. Opening game of the NBA season. I said must win, and you're like, no way. I was like, what if they meet in the playoffs? They're going to think they can't win. You're like, no way. Da, da, da. See, Nick said that was not a must. How was that not a must win, but this is? They're both must wins. You have to beat the champs week 1 or your season's over.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.